really amped up too. Now, I don't know if that's because of the migrational patterns of the deer or the prey, or it's the weather or what it is, but that's what's happening.
Oh, yeah. Well, we need to go on break, so we'll be back here in about 3 minutes. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio.
As I gaze upon the annals of time, one thing that comes through: we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Maelstrom to Manat, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Maelstrom to Manat, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea. From Maelstrom to Manat, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray. But what we have seen might not be what it seems when the government's shadows dance in the sea.
There are competing agendas to determine mankind's fate. Their influence here for billions of years, all part of a cosmic state. Lemuria, Atlantis, and Dwaka are few, all part of Earth's history. And spacecraft and stargates are really nothing new.
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Please check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Also, if you want to keep our show free of advertising, just hit the donate button. Give a buck or two. Remember, all prior shows are always free to listen to. We at Night Dreams Talk Radio thank you for your support. Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am with James Krichbaum. Hi, James.
Hey, what's going on, Gary? Tell me.
At my age, you got a half a sheet of paper and a marking pen?
I got some crayons and some construction paper. Will that work?
That probably would work. I tell you what I've been doing. I've been redoing this whole studio. I moved equipment around. I added some new equipment. I added a couple of big screens because we're going to be going on the second week, maybe even sooner, on Twitch. That is a gamer TV platform, but it's also a platform for a lot of talk shows. So we're going to be going live on that. At the same time, we're live on radio stations, and at the same time, we're live on the internet. So that's going to be a big change.
Yeah, you're moving right on up, like George and Wheezy.
Yeah, whoever they are. At least, you know what, I won't be able to come in here in my underwear and sit and do the show at that point.
No, you won't. And what happens with the two horses come in and grab your britches and run around and tear things up?
I have no idea. You're talking about those huge dogs. Well, you know, I am secure. I got a solid wood core door, you know, which, you know, I end up taking all the foam off on the one side, the soundproofing. I still have it on the inside of the studio, but I had it on both sides. But, you know, $5 a panel, and these dogs every day, 4 or 5 panels would be, you know, they love them. They tear them off and run around the house with them and chew them up. And if it isn't the freaking, you know, dogs that do it, it's my daughter's cat will come up to the door and one in. And it likes using the doorknob to try to open it, which it can't do. And it'll sit there and destroy the foam, too. And so I decided the other day, no, that's not going to be it. So the door on the one side is only foam halfway above where they can. Well, the dogs, when they stand, are tall as me now. But they're going to be taller than me at this rate.
You mean them dogs, as the way they are, being pups and curious and eat everything, they don't bother the cats at all?
They bark at the cat. But, you know, what I find so interesting, these dogs, right? At least the one goes up to my wife has a whole bunch of birds. She has some parrots and cockatoos, whatever they are. I want a cocktail. Anyway, she has these birds in our dining room, which we don't use anymore because it's now her bird room. But in the front room, she has her macaw. And the bird, you know, for years I've been trying to get it to say a few words. It imitates the cell phone. It'll say Dr. Pepper. It'll say hi, goodbye, and you know, some words it's learned from TV. But you know, and also a couple words I can't repeat. It learned from me. But what the dogs would do is get into, you know, the used the bird food that the bird drops, and the food, like the little apple slices and stuff that drop and go to the bottom of the cage. The dog can get its nose in there and grab that. Well, the bird's been watching him do it, so now the dog goes, to the cage, puts his mouth to the cage. The bird grabs some bird food and sticks it in the bird's mouth. I mean, the dog's mouth.
Sounds like a setup.
Yeah, but this will go on. The bird will feed him for like about 20 minutes before the bird, loses its patience and then, does whatever a bird does.
Eyeing up the dog's tongue to take a bite out and make it a forked tongue.
Well, that's only if the dog puts his tongue into it. But, we had a bird that passed on before this one, big one, that actually would, take... my wife would let it out in the kitchen, and it would, fly on the cage to its perch and a few other places. It would take dog treats out of the box and feed it to the 2 dogs we had.
Well, smart bird.
Yeah, it was the bird actually enjoyed it. It would just get into the little dog treats and then drop it down to the dog. As soon as the dog ate it, the bird would do it again. And, it was the cycle of that, too. To the box was empty, or the bird couldn't get to anymore.
Well, let me ask you this. The dogs, the two big dogs, have they seen the goat yet?
No, but they should. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they should. They should meet the goat.
But they love the horses. They think they're horses, and the rate they're going with these miniature horses, they're going to probably be about the same size.
They could gallop around together like a little herd.
Oh yeah, we put a new door in for my bedroom, and they have already destroyed it.
Oh my goodness!
They'll take off running down our hallway, which we got a long hallway, and the two dogs will take off at the full speed. You know, and you figure they weigh about 125, 130 pounds each. Whew. So when you got two of them slamming on the door at the same time to stop, the doors nowadays, you know, they're hollow. They're not, you know, solid wood doors anymore. And most doors are not even really wood anymore. It's composite.
No.
Yeah, you know, next thing you know, either the door, they come through the door or whatever. I don't know. It's frustrating sometimes.
I can about imagine. I wouldn't even know how to begin to even to feed those things. They must eat a truck full of food a day. Gee.
Well, I can tell you they poop a truckload a day. I can tell you that. They eat so much. It's just like nonstop. You know, the thing is, like, you give them a hamburger, right? They swallow it in one gulp. They don't even chew it. It's gone. They just swallow it.
I can see it now. You throw it in the air and it's just open their mouth and down the throat.
Yeah, and occasionally you get to belch.
Oh, gee. Occasionally they eat a remote control, I bet, too.
Yeah, they've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my wife asked me, hey, I can't find my right shoe. And she goes, I just bought these. Where are they? And I said, well, where did you leave them? She goes, well, I was tired. I was in the kitchen. My feet hurt. I put them on the china cabinet. And I said, well, I did, you know, while you were out shopping, I found all these parts of a shoe.
Parts of a shoe.
And I said, it was in like hundreds of little pieces. Could that have been your shoe?
Sounds like you got to put things about 5 foot up or higher.
Oh, higher than that. I mean, anything on the counter is fair game. Anything in the cupboards, they know how to open up the cupboards now.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and anything in a plastic bottle, you got to watch out. So you got to now, you know, be very careful. If medicines up, you can't leave them on the counter. You know, you can't. Yeah, I mean anything. Ooh. You know, get a bottle of Coke and if somebody doesn't close the refrigerator all the way, they're in the refrigerator.
Oh Lord, that would be a nightmare. You imagine one of them getting a hold of a bottle of some Benadryl or something? They'd be bouncing off the walls and tearing everything up.
No, but my wife bought a $30 bottle of fish. You know that fish oil.
Yeah,
yeah, and she just bought it and she left it on the counter, and I managed to get the bottle out of, you know, the mouth of the dog. Now, the dog didn't get into it, but it punctured a whole bunch of holes in it. And she goes, well, okay, well, then I still have my pills. And I said, no, do you want it all covered with slobber from these dogs?
That's a good point. The dog was just trying to get his coat shiny, probably, from that fish oil.
Yeah, probably would have done it. But you know what? Yeah, I just want to say, if Les is still listening, Les Odell, he was a great guest.
Yeah, he don't live that far from me, down next state over. But there's a long history just from me living here, hearing about cryptid stories from across the river there in West Virginia. And you know, I'm a strong believer in these cryptids. They don't stay in just one state. I think they crisscross and move around migrationally sometimes. You know, I like any other animal, I guess.
Or maybe they're humanoid and they can shapeshift too. So, you know, the guy you're sitting on the airplane next could be something else what you don't realize. It could be a creature, a cryptic, an alien or something.
Or you could be on the plane, look out the window, and see some kind of weird beast messing with the engine of the plane, like William Shatner did.
William Shatner did, yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting, too. But I would. Could you imagine, though, the plane's going 350 miles an hour? Okay, well, a commercial jet. That was on a 707.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would probably have been about 200 and some odd, about 270, 280. Could you imagine something, you know, sitting there ripping off the engine, you know, Actually, it wasn't. It was even before the jet. They did a remake of that too, by the way.
Yeah.
The original one was with a propeller craft, so it would have been probably about 200-mile range as speed. 200.